Push the red button. Everybody look out. Don't press the button. Don't press the button. Way to go. All right. That gentle tap, didn't that feel authoritative? Totally authoritative. Okay, welcome to our regular school board meeting, maskless, Thursday, March 3rd, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Call to order. We'll begin with the introduction of board members. I don't think we've ever had a board meeting with 5 members missing. So there was a first for everything. We'll start with Diane.
Diane Potter.
Alyssa Tracy.
Erin Mulder-Tunisia.
Matthew Marshall,
Becky Fless.
Chris McGlone,
Sophia Matthew. Nicole Medore. And Federal.
Thank you. Administrative staff.
Bob Hopkins, Superintendent. Andrea Dish, Business Manager.
Nisha Morris, Director of Special Services.
Sarah Sims, Principal, Gardner Regional Middle School.
Katie Gould, Principal at Helen Thompson School. Erin Moody, Principal of Laura Richards School.
Vicky Duday, Principal of Riverview Community School.
Christina O'Neill, Principal of Pittston Randolph Consolidated School.
Chad Kempton, High School Principal. Josh Farr, Director of Adult Education.
Angela Hardy, Director of Curriculum.
And Jerry McGuire, Director.
Thank you. So stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Review and approval of public comment.
I have public comment to read, but if you have something.
Do you have a public comment?
Yeah. Just let me know when.
You can do it right now.
Okay.
I forgot about that. You may do it right now. No, you can.
2 minutes.
Yes, and we do 2 minutes. And in 2 minutes, we're gonna stop you
Okay.
politely.
How do I know it's 2 minutes?
No,
She's gonna tell you.
I won't tap the gavel. I'll
Okay.
just say,
Okay. In case you don't know me, I'm Stephanie Cosma. I'm an ed tech at the high school. I work for Chad. I've worked for the district for 25 years in many facets, teaching summer school, tutoring all over the district. I work in the credit recovery program and I work in the special education department. All I would like to address this evening, you will be looking over the policy of the dress code. And I've spoken before the policy committee regarding the hat policy in our school, which I am fervently into addressing, in that I believe hats should not be worn inside the school building for a number of reasons. And most of them are pretty clear, obviously for security reasons, because with a brim tag, you can't really see a student's face. But I've told the board before that having been in many classrooms over the years, watching students with hats on, that, just seeing how some fall asleep and they have to be woken up, and then they have to be retaught whatever they missed. Some have earbuds in, and as soon as the teacher crosses the room and they were told to take them out, they put them back in under their hats, and it becomes a whack-a-mole kind of situation where you're trying to, get the kids to all pay attention, all get the material so that they can all be successful. And when you have to stop and take the time to address such things, the other students are then missing time, so it just, I've seen this so often and so much, and I looked at the pros and thinking, well, it's, if you have a bad hair day, or if you want to look a certain way, I can see that. But in my reference, it seems that the cons outweigh. And the last point I want to make is that rules are essential. Rules are really important, especially for high school students. They go out into the business world. They need to know that rules have to be adhered to. And rules are a good thing. Not too many of them, of course, but a few here and there, rules are a good thing. And, we don't want to send them out into the world not being able to at least, manage to hold on to.
last sentence.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You accomplished a lot in 2
Yes.
minutes.
I spoke someone.
No, you were, yes, and I really appreciate, I had not ever thought of those reasons for not wearing a hat inside.
Thank
So
you.
I really appreciate that.
Thank you for your time.
The board has received four letters from middle school staff regarding social studies. I'd like to, they've asked that those be read.
And I'm going to time you.
Yeah, one is long, so I'll do my best here. So I feel compelled to respond about the potential reduction of social studies teacher at the middle school for next year. The person talks about the social studies as a link in the critical chain of learning that takes place in schools. Social studies instruction promotes rich content and routinely some of the highest critical thinking skills of core subjects. It is key to adolescent development. It allows students the freedom of expression. Students are frequently provided an outlet to speak on current events and hot topic issues, not only in the community, but on the global level. Let's see, by eliminating positions, would be doing a disservice to all students. Let's see, last couple of years has wreaked havoc on our entire education community. Students are experiencing the effects of cumulative learning loss. It is going to take complete effort from all those who hold a stake in education of our students. Educators need more time and smaller class sizes now that more than ever in history. Expectations for student learning continue to rise with logistical and behavioral challenges. Now is not the time to apply more stress to an already fragile system. Discourage the school board, a democratic body of independent thinkers composed of members voted by their community, would contemplate the removal of educators who symbolize everything that they as a board represent. We need future community leaders like yourself. The future leaders I speak of are social studies teacher students. This is from Chad Greenleaf, a sixth grade teacher at the middle school. This is longer, but there's no way in 6 seconds that I can finish. So I would go on to something else. And just for clarity, the positions being discussed are federally funded positions. They are not in the budget currently. Okay, so there's no cut from the regular budget that is being proposed. All of this will be discussed in other locations through the budget process and curriculum and that sort of thing. So the next one is from Kim Corian. That says she's taught here for 28 years in 6th grade. She's seen enrollment rise and fall. She's asking the board to keep the new social studies teachers at the middle school. She realizes they were hired for one-year positions, but she does believe that there are some extenuating circumstances. 6th grade is looking to eliminate 2 social studies positions. The 6th grade has 8 teachers. Enrollment is 153, which means 19 students per homeroom. Next year's 6th grade enrollment is 152. So if we cut both social studies positions, class sizes would be 25 and a half. I don't have to tell you that's a very large number, especially in the transition year. It's always been about making connections at the middle school. Many of our classrooms are maxed out, even with just 20 or 22 kids. If I had 3 to 5 more desks in my classroom, I truly don't know where I'd put them. Today, I'm asking the board if they could possibly look at our budget and see if we could keep these 2 positions. I don't think it would be too much to ask taxpayers if the money could not be found, and the only option would be a tax increase. The current 5th grade teachers have class sizes ranging from 13 to 19. It would be best for students and staff to keep this equitable. There are 10 5th grade teachers with 152 students. It seems too much to have 6th grade teachers with those same 152 students. Thank you for your consideration. All right, next one is Jeff Tripp. He's an English teacher at the middle school. I wish to express my objection to the potential cuts to the middle school social studies staff and curriculum. I've worked closely with the teachers in the social studies department for several years now, and I can say unequivocally that they and their course contents have been indispensable to our students' growth. Our social studies faculty are experts in their field. They teach their subject with passion, and I can bear witness to the impact each of them has had on our students. Anything less than full daily coursework in the study of government, politics, world and American history, and cultural and social trends and patterns may render our kids ill-equipped to understand the complex historical events in which we find ourselves engaged even now. We should also bear in mind that one day our middle school students will have the responsibility of resolving the problems that are in gestation now today. Suffice it to say that I believe a full-time, fully funded social studies program in our students' best interest. All right, then the last one on this topic is from Troy Gray, an 8th grade social studies teacher. I am writing to you with my own concerns regarding the possible cuts to social studies teachers at the middle school. The outcome of these cuts would probably mean that teachers who aren't experts in the field would have to help teach it. The ramifications of these cuts might also mean that students will not have it every day as they do the other 3 core subjects, math, English, and science, perhaps cutting the social studies curriculum in half and making it a part of allied arts. Middle school years are very important years in the evolution of an adolescent mind. Students are starting to break away from parents, becoming informed, and are producing independent thoughts. We are living in a very dangerous world, as we have seen in recent days, years, and it's imperative that we save one of the 4 content areas from disintegration through job cuts or a diluting of the subject by lessening the time students actually have social studies daily. These are the years when students find out what interests them, and some are truly passionate about history and politics. They also read from informational texts in social studies more than any other subject, learn how to outline notes and papers, form persuasive essays, write songs and poems, engage in debates, read and debate novels, and use multimedia on a daily basis. I venture to say that by diminishing the subject with cuts to teachers and/or time with students in the subject or using teachers who are not proficient in the subject, we are going to lower test scores, as it is the only subject that utilizes a multitude of informational text and writing, which enhances the push for it in the Common Core. I implore you to reconsider at least some of the cuts and hope that you contemplate the outcome of these cuts and what it will do to our cherished core subjects. Now is not the time. And then the person, he goes on to say that his children over in RSU 2 have not had social studies every day, and it has impacted his children. So there's that. Then there's one other email that the board received. This is from Ashley McDonald, who says that she's writing as a concerned parent regarding 4th graders at the Helen Thompson, that this year's been rough for her academically due to the class size. It's her understanding that there are 3 5th grade classrooms at this time, and she's writing in hopes that you will not take away a 5th grade teacher and that the class sizes can be smaller than they were for the 4th graders this year. The teacher spends a lot of time on behavior, and it is unable to keep the class focused on academics. Smaller class sizes will support better learning environments for all our 5th graders. That's what I have for public comment.
Question is that 4th grade at Helen Thompson, are they above class size policy? Nothing outside of that.
They're not a class size policy.
Thank you. No more public comment from anyone? We will move on. Review and approval of agenda minutes, prioritization of items and alteration of the established agenda format sequence as needed.
You all have received a revised agenda in your folder that was posted on Tuesday, and I have no additional changes.
It's a miracle.
I know.
All right, then I would entertain an approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Matt.
Second.
Second from Chris. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of agenda minutes of previous meetings, the regular board meeting of February 3rd and the 2 special board meetings on February 7th. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Alyssa, second by Diane. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Recognitions and celebrations.
As written, we actually have quite a few. So yoo-hoo to Linda Champa, who's a kindergarten teacher over at the Pittston Randolph Community School. A number of her parents actually submitted the recommendation, the nomination, so
Nice.
that's really cool. You can see here Sean Jimenez, a couple great recognitions for him, the first place in the state American Legion oratorial competition. So he'll be going to the nationals. He also has been selected to the Mid-Maine Youth Orchestra, along with Katie Nestor and Alden Gilg. Then you can also see, we wanted to really thank here in the central office, the Gardner businesses and many Gardner community members. They all got together and wrote like little notes to the entire staff throughout the district and the central office on hearts, on other things around Valentine's Day, just expressing their appreciation to all of the staff throughout the district for all that they've done. It was really very sweet, very kind, well received. So we appreciated all of that. And then also to the National Honor Society and the Interact Club, who actually delivered amazing gifts as well. So incredibly appreciated. So I just wanted to recognize them. And then the last thing I guess I will say is congratulations to the Gardner ice hockey team,
Yes.
who 8th seed beat number 1 seed Messalonsky last night. And what I heard was an amazing game. We won in overtime 3-2, and Saturday night at 8 p.m. they'll be down in Rockport playing against Camden Hills. So good luck
That's
to
very
the
exciting.
Sorry,
Gardner
Angela.
ice hockey team. Yeah, really
Angela, I
excited. Sorry,
understand you
Angela.
were
Yeah.
there.
I was sitting here trying to figure out who was the Messalonsky fan, and I.
It was a win either way for me.
Good answer.
All right, correspondence.
Just as written, but you can see this is certainly the time of the year where resignations, retirements are
man.
starting to come in.
There's a bunch.
Yeah, there are a bunch.
See, okay. Committee reports, Capital Area Technical Center Advisory Committee.
They met March 1st, was that Tuesday? And it was a very brief meeting. We just discussed the calendar, the regional calendar. And we're notified that they're in the middle of developing their budget. And the next time that we meet, they will present a copy of that budget for us to consider. That's all we talked about.
Okay. Curriculum Committee.
We met, but unfortunately, we didn't have a quorum. We did talk a little bit about a few things for our next meeting, which will be going over program of studies and approval. You want to add anything?
We're actually gonna try to do the program of studies approval tonight because we couldn't hold it then and we need to be able to move that forward. So that's part of your board packet, and it was why your board packet was so large. because it's-
169 pages long.
Yeah, it alone is like, what, 70 or 80 pages.
That was really good reading.
It probably was very informative. Chad comes in this year also as the building principal. There's only 3 significant changes in the program of studies, and they all are in the courses of video production. And basically those changes, as we discussed, is just there's a level 1 course, and then beyond the level 1 course, it's been level 2 has sort of been reoriented to allow for building upon students' interests. So there's 2 kind of pathways, just Mr. Kempton and I talked about, just like in art, there's like, I don't remember the name of it, art foundations, right?
So we have it's similar to the art program, is that we have an intro to art, which does the foundational work, and then if kids want to branch off into 2D art, maybe into pastels, paint, so forth, 3D art, maybe structures, plays, and so forth. So what we're doing with video production is we've got the traditional 1 and 2, but with our new teacher and the skills that she brings to the table, she wants to try to offer some some more specific interest-based courses for kids that are more relevant to 2022. With some animation, anyone that is a Disney fan here, you can, plenty of pathways through animation, digital animation. So she's looking at, the course is actually motion graphics and animation. So she's looking at doing that. And then new media and technology. So getting up into the new tools that are being used in the media world, and trying to get into some like virtual reality. And I'm just going to read through a few of them because I'm learning as we go, because she's just a ball of fire. So example project would be creating your own podcast, making a 360-degree tour, and creating various presentations using social media, including artificial intelligence, virtual reality, podcasting, and social media. So some things that she wants to get into. And these are based on her conversations and interactions with kids. She's finding that there's a group of kids that are much into the filmmaking with group work. And then there are kids that want to branch out into more independent work with some more modern technology. So she's trying to do the basics, but also give some options for some kids to branch out. And then the technology program within.
And it's all being done with resources we already have. It's staffing that we already have. It's not changing our staffing dynamics or needs. Works in her full-time.
That sounds fascinating. I want to do how to make a podcast.
Virtual reality.
Yeah, that stuff is so interesting.
So annually, we ask the board to vote on the program of studies so that we can then move forward with it as our official document for the following year.
So we need a motion to approve the program of studies for the 2022-2023 school year.
I can make that motion.
Thank you, Alyssa. And Ange will second. Are there any questions or comments?
I wish it was that last year because I would have taken that this year. I totally would have taken that. Good comment.
I want to take it, but maybe we could offer something like that through adult time.
I'd come back to that.
Yeah.
One other thing she wants to do is a photo class where if you've been to any of our athletic events, you'll see her with a little posse of her cherubs that are really getting into photography. So she's going and covering all kinds of events after school. So she wants to do a photography course that's based on all of our after school activities.
What a cool idea.
It's a win-win.
Staple down this ball of fire. This is great. All right, any other comments or all those in favor of approving the program studies? Motion passes. Printed. Yay. Okay, next. Dropout prevention, nothing. Finance committee. Let's see, we looked again at the ED 279, did a little bit of a deeper dive into that, and we will continue to do that as we enter into or go through the budget process. We talked about the STARS program expansion and the possibility of it expanding in a different location to meet the needs of all of our students in a more effective and efficient manner. We talked about capital improvement and bonding, the many things that we need to get, we feel we need to get done, like roofs and paving and things like that, that seem to always fall off the table because of the budget necessities that we need to keep funding and monies in the classroom. So we talked about what that would look like, the timing, when we should do it, how much. And then we talked about emergency connectivity. And we're going to start meeting a lot more. So anybody who really wants to a deep dive into understanding how the funding part works and how challenging this particular year might get to be, because our federal relief monies are going to disappear. So we've got to keep moving forward with our very best feet forward. So I would encourage all board members to think about attending and learning how this all works.
Could I just add, our next finance committee meeting is on March 15th. And that is going to have the rollout of the proposed budget.
Yes.
So it's not just about learning those things, it's really being
You're
a
gonna see
part
it.
of the budget development process. And we have some expenses as, based upon what you're seeing around the country with increased costs for energy. It's going to be huge, pretty significant. So I would kind of reiterate what Becky said and encourage all board members who are able to attend those meetings and be a part of those discussions and the decision-making process.
Thank you. Policy committee.
So Tony's not here this evening, so he asked me if I would stand in for him. We've been very busy. We met on February 3rd, and this past Tuesday, I think March 1st was Tuesday. We went through a number of policies. We have one policy for the first reading for the board, and a number of policies for the second reading. And so I'm going to make one motion for the board to consider approval for the first and second reading of policies JICA. That's the first reading, and second reading for policies AC through JIC on the agenda.
And the ones that you're rescinding for the second.
And the ones that we're rescinding, which are policies GBN through GBN-R2.
So a motion to approve from somewhere.
Matt did make the motion.
I made the motion.
Oh,
I think somebody seconded it.
Second, sorry. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Great, thank you.
The second part of this is we met, as I said, on the first. There were a number of policies that we really needed to get through. The committee voted to move the policies forward to the board for consideration and to request that it suspend procedural rules by immediately approving the policies. Do we need to vote on that portion and then policies themselves?
No, as long as it's in the motion
Okay.
that you're suspending the procedural rules,
Okay.
you're fine.
So I would add that, but I would also add that the policies requiring immediate review were policies IJJ through policies KDB, which are annotated in the agenda.
And the reason for that was because of rule and law changes, correct? Back in October, just to be clear for the public.
And we just haven't had
Right,
time
haven't had
until
a
now
chance,
to
right.
get through all of them.
And they're important policies. So we rolled through them on first. So I need a second.
Ange? Okay, questions or comments? All those in favor? Great, thank you. Next, job description.
Oh, yeah, I guess if you guys just approve second reading of the job description, I should have had that up there. Underneath the other.
So a motion to approve the second reading of the job description for the assistant to the director of operations.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
That was a first because I'm not allowed to second. Or did you make the motion?
I never do. but I
Sorry.
did.
That's all right. That's why you threw me off. I wouldn't-
You were just on a roll, so I'll let you go.
Off she goes. Okay, all those in favor? Great, thanks. All right, student representative report.
We'll go first. So I have some interesting information about the drama club. Rehearsals are underway for the spring production of You Can't Take It With You, a classic 1930s comedy in 3 acts. We have over 30 students. It's a pretty good number for the high school drama club involved in the play, and it will be performed April 6th through the 9th. Profits from the show will help fund scholarships for the drama seniors, so please attend. Tickets will be available by the end of March and are being handled by the Gardner Drama Boosters under the leadership of Catherine Kennedy.
Yes.
Civil rights team as a way to understand the rising tide of anti-Semitism around the world. Our team just hosted a virtual meeting with guests from Temple Beth El and Augusta, who had a profound impact on our team members. We all learned a lot and plan to keep in contact moving forward. There's that.
Right, so the Interact Club recently held their fourth successful induction ceremony. They inducted a new board of directors, 9 members with 5 more being inducted in the near future. They're holding a Red Barn fundraiser on March 5th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the State Street location. They're volunteering at the Parish Community Supper on April 10th. They'll be attending a community needs meeting at the Christ Church to discuss further outreach with the community. They're creating an Easter basket to donate to the Rotary Easter Basket fundraiser. We'll be having a paint night as a fundraiser on March 22nd at 6. It's open to the public. The cost is $35. And they want to thank the community for their continued support.
It's such fun stuff. Thank you.
We have some more NHS as part of that supper too, and out of my brain. It'll come back to me eventually.
Great. Thank you both very much. Wellness Committee, no meeting. Ad hoc Committee, no meeting. And general information as written. Nominations, none. Old business, none. Wow.
Yeah, well, wow.
Wait a minute. What are we doing?
Some of you board members have never experienced
Oh,
this.
exciting.
I thought this was ready to mom.
What is
Like, this could be
happening?
record time.
Yeah, everyone slow down your speed.
No.
That's
People
like,
have
let's
worked a
keep
lot.
going.
Can't believe this.
So,
This is crazy.
yeah, under new business, we have a proposed calendar for next school year. So as a reminder, I don't know what just happened to it. As a reminder, our school calendar has to be created in collaboration with all of the sending schools to capital area tech. So we all began having conversations about the school calendar back in December, the end of December. And we're not allowed by state law to have more than 5 dissimilar days. And so we worked together to make sure that we complied with the law. We also tried to coordinate our early release days as much as possible. This year, we didn't do a great job because of the pandemic, and next year we're struggling a little bit with that as well. But that is an ongoing goal. As you look at this particular calendar, it is for the most part very similar to the calendar that we had this year, except you will see that some of the early release days we moved around a bit. So this year we had an early release day scheduled for September, and we've moved it on the Thursday before the workshop, for example. We also, in February, we had one that, I don't remember what day it was on, and we moved it to a Thursday. We actually tried to create kind of a theme to make it easier for families. If they could plan on the majority of them being on Thursday afternoon, then it might make it easier for families to plan and prepare versus having them all over the calendar on different days. So I don't know if anyone has any questions about that. Again, it's very similar to this year.
No, having grown up away, this is way easier than it was where I grew up. It was never convenient or thought of that way. So I love that it kind of coordinates with a holiday or workshop day. That's very thoughtful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you still the calendar person?
I am the calendar person. I'm the calendar lady for the team.
Calendar lady. And we're pretty close to like
Yeah.
September 1st.
We are
Kind of
close.
close.
We're actually, it's August 31st. I know that there are some that want us to begin after Labor Day, but when you begin after Labor Day, it really puts you later into June. And so as you look at June, if you have 6 snow days, then you're going to be into the week of the 20th. That's now a holiday week, right? That Monday is now a holiday.
Right.
So that would actually mean an increased expense to the district as well, because you're going to have to pay for that holiday. And, you know, really, the earlier you begin, the more productive that instructional time is. The later you get in June, teachers are tired, students are tired, and the focus just isn't as strong as it is at the beginning of the year. So we're strong supporters for beginning those 3 days prior to Labor Day.
I'm adjusted.
I know.
It's taken a minute, but I've adjusted. Great. So we need a motion to approve the calendar.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second, Diane, a second. Questions, comments, applause?
Yes, golf
There
clap.
we go. All those in favor? Motion carries. Great. Cost for freedom of access requests.
So I was asked to share some information with the board regarding freedom of access, or FOIA. We refer to it as FOIA. And around the state, the majority of school districts have really seen a rise this year in the number of FOIA requests. In some cases, some are receiving them on a weekly basis, actually far more than we have. So I tried to put together just a little bit of a summary. This year, the district has received officially 4 FOIA requests. The first FOIA request came in July, and that was specific to critical race theory. And that one, it took approximately 20 hours to create and provide all of the information to the individual who was requesting it. At that time, the FOIA law stated that we had to give 1 free hour. And then any hour after that it took, it would be $15 an hour that we could charge the individual who was requesting for the paperwork. So that particular FOIA request, the individual paid $270. When we think about our time, we certainly make more than $15 an hour. It cost probably close to $1,200. In terms of our actual time to pull that together. At that time, CRT was really new to us and all of that. So there were some legal fees that we incurred, and we incurred about $1,500 of legal fees regarding that particular request. So once you take the actual expenditures and you subtract the $270, then the cost to the district was about $2,400. So we have since received 3 additional requests, but none of them to date have paid for the request to be followed through on and for us to complete it. But one of them, the initial request was regarding CRT masking and some financial data regarding the MOU. That the board approved. So we estimated that was going to take about 250 hours. Given the depth of the work that they were asking, we had to go back for 2 years to actually answer some of the questions that were being asked of us. By that time, the law had changed and the first 2 hours were free, but the hourly rate increased to $25 an hour. So that person was told it would be $6,200 to complete the FOIA request. And so the person decided not to move forward with it. When I took a look at our per diems and all of that, it would have cost us roughly $11,000. So had the individual gone through with the request, the actual cost to the district would have been about $4,700, the difference between the $11,000 and the $6,200. There was another request, regarding masks. And we estimated that was about 8 hours. The total cost that would have been charged is about $150. The cost to the district, when I think about the total per diem, was about $480. So the net would have been about $330 roughly. But again, so far that person has not stepped forward to make payment. And the other one was financial data for the MOU. We estimated that to take about 120 hours at $25. That total charge would have been just shy of $3,000. Again, that has not been paid, so we haven't acted upon it. But the district, had the person acted on it, or if they still decide to in the future, the cost to us will be just shy of $5,700. And so the cost to the district would be about $2,700. Now, separate from that, we have had some other requests for data that were not FOIA requests, right? They just asked for some information. So some of that required some legal fees. So we had about $2,000 worth of legal fees there. And I have no idea the amount of time it took. I really have no idea because I wasn't keeping track of it. So I'm just going to throw out, say, 10 to 12 hours of my time. So that would have been around $2,700 that we incurred. So if I look at the $2,700 for that, and I look at the first FOIA request that we did comply with, then the cost to the district was about $5,100. If the other three requests were followed through on, then the total cost to the district would have been just shy of $13,000. So I think that's what you guys were looking for information, right? So that's,
Well, and when you
that's
say
what I have.
cost, when you say cost to the district, that's actually cost to the taxpayers,
Mhm,
because that's money that has to come from somewhere, and we don't have a FOIA line
mhm.
in the budget, and it's also an immeasurable amount of time and phone calls to our attorneys and coordination with Terry, with Andrea, with whichever
All those people
administrator
being pulled from their regular jobs.
from their regular jobs,
Right.
that they're all very busy, and
Yeah.
there's not a cost that we can actually put on that.
Right, right.
So to be clear, so part of, I talked with Matt a little bit about this. I just want the taxpayers and the people that think, I don't know what folks actually think happens in the workday of any of our administrators. So I wouldn't even assume that. However, I do want people to understand that there's not a spare moment, and all the money that we have, we want in the classroom and being used as much as we can in the classroom and used for what it's intended for, which is each and every line item within the budget, not spending it on attorney's fees if we can help it.
So Becky, could I add to that?
Absolutely.
To Becky's point, $13,000 that we could otherwise use in the classroom is pretty significant. I would encourage folks that have an idea, or they think or make an assumption that certain things are happening within our district. I would really encourage them to watch all of the committee meetings. They're all videotaped. Nothing's happening behind the scenes. I know last summer, Angela and the curriculum committee and the board, we worked very, very hard concerning issues surrounding CRT, which are really non-existent within our district. And, and I'm not going to belittle anybody, but I would just say that I'm a Fox News guy, right? I'm a moderate conservative kind of guy. And you hear all the time on that particular news broadcast about school districts across the country. You hear a lot of negative things every morning, and I just turn it off. We're not Loudoun County, Virginia. We're just not. We're not interested at the moment, I guess, with teaching CRT, spending money on curriculum for CRT. We have other things to worry about. And there are a lot of people out there that enjoy being conspiracy theorists. When you are, and you approach the district with FOIA requests that just are unfounded, it costs money. And it costs a lot of, and people have to put a lot of energy into sifting through emails, Terry, that don't exist. So I just wanted to point that out there and be on the record that, frivolous FOIA requests are ridiculous. Watch videos, you'll see what's going on. Nothing's done behind the scenes. I had someone mention to me 2 or 3 weeks ago that by masking our kids, the federal government kicked us $3,200 per child I don't know where that money came from or where it was spent, but I added it up. It came out to like, figure it out, 3,200 times 2,000 students. It's like $6.1 million we supposedly got from the federal government, which we didn't get. So for somebody to tie masking to money given to the district is a little ridiculous. This just happens to be all I really want to say.
But for clarity, we did receive a significant of COVID money.
Yes, but
It
that,
wasn't tied to masking, but
Correct,
it was
exactly.
federal COVID
Correct.
money,
Yeah.
so.
Tied
it
to
had
COVID,
nothing to
but
do
not
with
to
masking, but I don't know how anybody I don't know what they read or thought by making the comment that we got $3,200 per student to keep a mask on them. It's ridiculous. So I just wanted to point that out, make it a matter of public record and get it off my chest.
Glad you feel better.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you're absolutely right. We received significant monies in COVID funding, and I'm real grateful for that. Really, really grateful for that. But no, it had nothing to do with masks. So thank you, Matt. And thank you to everyone for participating and helping us get through this, sitting here and staying with us. All right. Affirmative action stipend.
Yeah, I'm here to ask a request. We have an affirmative action officer who now does Title IX. And we have paid for that position. It's been a $1,000 stipend for years. The workload has quadrupled for that individual. There are regular investigations that have to occur now. Whether it's a harassment and whether it's an issue with a student or it's an issue with a staff member. And $1,000 just isn't appropriate for the workload. And so I'm here to ask if you would support increasing that amount to $2,500. It's still probably not high enough, but it at least is moving us towards the right direction, and it recognizes, it's Terry, it recognizes all of her time above and beyond to serve in this capacity.
So I have a question. If the workload has quadrupled, why don't we raise it to $4,000? I don't want to throw money away, but we have a wonderful person who does all of our FOIAs, who does so many things, and to have to, again, trace down investigations and the kinds of things that we're talking about, harassment and discrimination and all those kinds of things. Why don't we nudge even up higher to where we should be? If it's quadrupled, let's quadruple it.
I will leave that to you. I just believe that she needed some recognition for the
Absolutely.
additional work.
I would only ask Andrea, I mean, that's more money.
Ask me what?
That's more money. Is that an issue?
I have no problem, but I have to find an additional $3,000.
When you said quadruple, that's what I thought.
Let's quadruple the workload. Let's quadruple the
All
amount.
right.
I only got one question. How long has this position been there?
We have had this position for years. You have to have an affirmative action officer. And I think it was probably 3-4 years ago that we added Title IX to it because we were
And it's been
required.
at 1,000 the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that just sort of gets like
Lost
forgotten
in the
about,
shuffle.
That's what I remember.
falls
Yeah.
off the plate.
Yeah. So I think you should make a motion, Becky.
Make a motion that we quadruple the amount of the stipend that we give to the affirmative action officer. Seconded by Diane. It's 2 motions in one night. Okay.
We're all in favor. Matt's ready.
Okay, motion carries. And thank you for doing that work,
And that work and that work.
right? Thank you.
Yes, that work has been keeping her busy lately.
Yeah, and it's, yes, I'm certain that that's true. Board chair, nothing. Superintendent's report.
Sure, couple things. One, I wanted to show you a video. Terry has the video. So beginning of February, the US Department of Education reached out to our district. I think I previously mentioned it to you that they were really pleased in how we were using some of our federal dollars They were looking at websites across the country, various school districts, and they specifically invited our district to make a video for something called their ARP Stars campaign. So we did that. Terry McGuire helped take the lead along with our new video production teacher, Jennifer Clausen. And the two of them spliced this all together. We have Karen Collin, who is one of our literacy coaches. I thought it would be really nice to have our staff actually promote this. So you're going to see Karen talking, and she's going to highlight how we spent some of our dollars on curriculum and various other purchases that went right into the classroom. So it's only like 30-second video. We're really limited to how long it could be, but I hope you like it.
Hi, I'm Karen Collin, Literacy Specialist and Instructional Coach for the Maine School Administrative District 11, serving the communities of Gardner, Pittston, Randolph, and West Gardner. Here at MSAD11, we're already noticing the impact from the American Rescue Plan dollars. We have created additional staff positions across the district to reduce class sizes and have hired literacy and math specialists to provide student-centered coaching and ongoing professional development for our teachers. Our ARP funds have also been used to purchase high-quality, research-based curriculum materials to provide differentiated instruction for all students. Our mid-year data is already showing improvements in student growth, helping to close the learning gap.
That's it.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's great.
So I just wanted to share that with you. It's not on their website yet. I went up, I tried to find it today.
No.
I couldn't. So I wanted to share that with you. Also wanted to just share with you on March 18th, we do have a staff workshop day. And for those of you who've been around and remember that we were working with the district management group, I wanted to let you know that we have Nate Levinson, who was in kind of like the lead person that interested us when we hired the DM group. He's going to be here virtually to help kick off a day of celebration and really just try to re-energize us around the work that we've been trying to do to individualize our instruction to better meet the needs of students. So it's really exciting, looking forward to it. Angela, anything else that you would like to add?
No, we're just really excited and proud of our staff and the work we've done over the last 2 years to really, or 3 years, I guess, really to shift our system to strengthen our core instruction, strengthen our intervention system, be more responsive to student learning needs in a sort of systematic and efficient manner. We are continuing to improve, but we're proud of our staff and want to celebrate the work they've done and also start leaning into where we're headed next a little bit and be thinking about that in sort of a positive way, hit pause and think about that together. And then end the afternoon with learning sessions provided by our staff for our staff.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Should be a
Yeah,
great day.
that sounds great.
And then back on the last thing that I have, it's not on your agenda, but back on Monday night, I happened to mention that I was working to create a COVID-19 protocol matrix. So I have a draft. It's at this point, administrators and I discussed it today. I'm not sure if it's really relevant anymore. Now that we have the Department of Education and the CDC yesterday that came out and said that the mask mandate, right, is no longer going to officially be recommended as of next Wednesday. So if there's really no recommended mask mandate, then there are really no circumstances in which we need to have a matrix. It's kind of our thinking. So I don't have one here to present to you tonight as a result. So I just kind of wanted to bring a little closure to that. Okay.
Okay, let's you decide who needs a matrix. I'm sure you'll make one.
I have it.
Okay,
I guess the
Don't delete.
the CDC has every Maine county medium now.
No kidding. So they got their information current.
That probably was,
That was,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, they had such a backlog. That was one of the things that they kept saying, but, well, we'll take medium.
And so it's 7:26.
Wait a minute, everyone.
I know, I'm like, wait,
7:26.
it's 7 what?
And we're ready to go
7:26.
into executive session.
Can you remember the last time we did anything like this?
So we're excited.
Consider this our gift to you.
Thank you.
You take it home.
So for
This
the,
isn't normal?
No.
Try.
so for live streaming purposes, we have 3 executive sessions, and I do not foresee you coming out of any of them with a motion. Okay, so
So the live stream will stop now.
the live
Yes.
stream will stop because no action will be taken as a result of any of these executive sessions.
Veronica just texted me and said, I am so jealous.
Oh, I'll
Her assignment tonight was to watch the meeting since she's homesick. I said, well, you need to watch the.
She said